Hello. In this video, we'll be talking about the DP and flex rule for fast pitch softball. It's an important rule to understand because it will give more opportunities for players to participate. So this video can be for coaches and umpires, and I'll try and go through it quickly. You can always go back and review or rewind a little bit, but here we go. DP and flex. So if you decide to use a designated player, DP, you must put him at the lineup card at the beginning of the game. So in this case, and in all our scenarios in this video, Jones will be the designated player, the DP, batting in the fourth position, as shown on this lineup card. The DP will start as an offensive player only, but there are options as the game continues. Possible options for the DP are they can continue to play offense for the entire game. There's a scenario where they could play offense and defense at the same time. And the third scenario is they can leave the game and sit on the bench. The important thing is they have to at least play offense. At least play offense means offensive only, offense and defense, or nothing at all. There's never a scenario where they're playing just defense because they are an offensive player. The flex, if you decide to use a flex, the flex will be listed in the 10th position. This lineup card only has 9 batters, but the flex, who's playing defense only, is listed in the 10th slot. And in this case, and for this video, Green will be the flex and bat and play right field. They are not batting. They will play defense only when the game begins, but they do have options. They can continue to play defense the entire game, defense only. There's a scenario where they could play defense and offense at the same time, right field and be a hitter. We'll show you how they can do that. And of course, they can come out of the game completely. There is no scenario where they're playing offense only because a flex has to be at least playing defense. Defense only, defense and offense, or nothing at all. They can never be offense only. Another thing to know about the DP and flex is they are locked in the same batting position. So when we start talking about scenarios where Green can bat, they would have to bat in the 4th slot because the DP and flex are locked in the same position. For Green to bat, there's no other place for them to bat except for the 4th position. All right. We're going to take the substitutes out of our lineup card because if we start talking about substitutes, those are different rules and potentially other videos like substitution videos, re-entry videos, courtesy runner videos, but we're only talking about DP flex. So I'm going to remove the substitutes to keep things simpler and just look at these 10 players. With this in mind, there are only 3 things you can do with the DP flex. Only 3 things. The first thing you can do with the DP flex, you can take the DP out of the game and the flex can bat in their position. So now Green will be continuing to play right field, but will bat in the 4th position. Jones is out of the game. Because Jones has left, this team has dropped from 10 players in the original lineup card to only 9. Because number 18 Green, still playing right field and now batting 4th. That's a scenario where the flex can play offense and defense at the same time. Jones is removed from the game. They could come back in the game. They could go back up to 10 players just the way it used to be. But for now, they only have 9 players. The second scenario you can do with the DP flex is pretty much the opposite of what you're looking at right now. So if you understand the first, the second should seem easy. The second scenario is we're going to take the flex out of the game. And we're going to have the DP do both offense and defense. So Jones in the 4th slot will continue to bat. Now they will also play defense, and in this case, right field. Green has left the game. This is another time where the team has dropped from the original 10 players down to 9. The flex has left the game. If the flex wants to come back in the game and they go back to 10, the flex could go right back to where they were. That's allowed. But in this scenario, 24 number 24 Jones, still hitting fourth, but is now playing right field. So there's 2 out of the 3 things you can do with a flex, and they're kind of just opposites of each other, dropping from 10 to 9, where either the DP or the flex leaves the game. Before we talk about the third scenario, let's just talk about this simple situation. Is it okay for this case, the left fielder and the first baseman to switch positions in the middle of the game? We're just going to have the left fielder and the first baseman switch positions. They can do it in the middle of the inning. Not a big deal. So I'm going to show you something similar you can do with the DP, where they're just switching positions and nothing's changing with the batting order, and there are no players leaving the game or going into the game. Just 2 people switching positions. So here's what that looks like. What we're going to have happen here is the DP is going to end up playing defense. They're still going Jones is still going to hit in the 4th slot, and they're now going to play second base. Abel, who was playing second base, is now going to become a hitter only. That's why we put HO, hitter only, or only hitting. OH, HO, whatever you put. Don't mark them as a DP because they're not a DP, but they are hitting only temporarily. If you notice in this scenario, there are still 10 players on this lineup. No one has left the game. Why do we put hitter only in this situation? Because remember, if Green were to bat, Green has to go into the DP position, which is the 4th slot. And if you accidentally put that Abel's the new DP, which they're not, you might accidentally put Green into Abel's spot, which could never happen. So that's why we say hitter only and not the new DP. The DP position still exists in the 4th spot. It's just that Jones is hitting and playing defense, and Abel is hitting only. That's the third and final thing you can do with a DP and a flex. Now just watch about the switching, though. Some people think you can switch the DP and the flex, and that is not a possibility. You cannot do that. Why can't you do that? Well, I said in one of the first few slides that, let's take Jones, for instance, the DP. At the very least, Jones has to at least hit. They can hit, but in this scenario, they're not hitting. They can hit and play defense, but in this scenario, that's not happening. In this scenario, Jones is playing defense only. That can never happen. Same thing with the flex. The flex has to at least play defense, and in this scenario, they're only playing offense. So that is the reason why you can't just flip-flop the DP and the flex. You can take one of them out, and the other one can do both, but you can't flip-flop them the way that this slide shows. That's it. Let me review those 3 real quick. All on the same screen. First of all, you can have the flex do both. The flex bats and plays defense. So we're putting in the first scorecard, Green is going to go and hit in the 4th position and continue to play right field. That team has dropped from 10 players to 9 players. The opposite of that is the DP is going to end up doing both, and Green's going to come out of the game. So Green leaves the game, so we need a right fielder, and Jones is going to continue to bat 4th and now play right field. That team has dropped from 10 to 9. That's the opposite of the first one. And the third one, oh, my picture's not in the way here. In the third scenario, we have just basically Jones and Abel are flopping positions here. Jones is now going to play second and continue to hit because they haven't come out of the game. Abel is not going to play second anymore and just hit. That's very similar to first base switching with left field. They're just switching positions. The batting order stays exactly the same, and we're not going to call Abel the designated player because the 4th position is where the flex is connected to. That's all. If you have questions, you can email me or call me. If you have any requests for other instructional videos, you can request that as well. I hope this was helpful. Thank you and have a good night.